ICASA has come out guns blazing, warning Elon Musk StarLink to not continue its illegal operations in South Africa. This comes out after they've discovered that there are some distributors who are illegally selling Starlink satellites.
Hello and welcome to the channel. Well, it turns out that Elon Musk was operating Starlink illegally in South Africa. Let's take a look at why the government blocked Starlink from operating. Let's take a look, please.
All right, so this is a quick Starlink update. Please. If you don't have $1,500 to buy it or $900, please don't send me. How much is it gonna cost? I'm sick and tired of hundreds of inboxes, WhatsApps, emails. How much is that? Can you help me get one? Yes, I can. How much does it cost? 1,500, 900. Never hear back from you. So the stock has arrived. There's plenty stock. So please stop wasting my time. If you can't pay 1,500, you can't pay 900 and 150 delivery in Joburg, please don't send me a message and ask me, how much is it? Can you help me get one? Arrivari, cheers. I don't have time for this. I'm helping people that wants to be helped. Cheers.
One of the many links that Elon Musk has to South Africa is his business Starlink. Now, it was blocked in South Africa from operating when they couldn't come to an agreement on ownership and investment in the South African economy. While we've seen them in the US do the same with TikTok, let's take a look what the terms and conditions were. But in the moment, it seems that Starlink was actually operating illegally already in South Africa. We'll take a look at that as well. Please give this video a thumbs up as we look at another bone of contention.
I was just minding my business when I came across this headline. So Elon Musk wants to launch Starlink in South Africa. And in South Africa, we have the Black Economic Empowerment, the BEE laws, which, you can liken to affirmative action in the US, basically to try and get an even playing field between the different races, specifically Black people and people of color in the country. So because he wants to run his company in South Africa, he actually told the Independent Communications Authority of South Africa that it should reconsider the rules of BEE, which state that 30% of a company needs to have shareholding by historically disadvantaged groups or Black investors. And obviously South Africa said no. SpaceX, which is the parent company of Starlink, asked that these rules be reconsidered before it enters the South African market. And ICASA said countries do have laws, and in South Africa we have the BEE legislation, which says in the specific sector this country wants to operate in, there should be a 30% BEE requirement. He actually also said this is not very different to what the US is doing with TikTok, and is quoted as saying President Donald Trump said TikTok can continue to operate in the US provided the company is 50% owned by a US citizen. So basically the spokesperson is saying if they can understand why they would demand a company to sell 50%, they can understand that South Africa has its own laws if they want to operate in South Africa. And the communications minister said the same thing, that he's going to make sure that the policy directive is given to ICASA to clarify the BEE rules. So I think that's another reason why, because if you remember, Marco Rubio said South Africa is trying to push DEI. I think on the one hand, it's our foreign policy, and on the other hand, we've upset Elon because he wants to take over the South African market. I say he doesn't enter the South African market, and a South African in South Africa tries to start a business in that area. Because he clearly doesn't want to operate within the rules and regulations and the laws of the country. And all the while, his dad is on a popular South African podcast saying things like South Africa is one of the better places to be in the world. Everything is here. You don't miss anything. Anything you want, you can get in South Africa. And it's that mindset, and it's the truth of that statement that has made them say, no, actually, we don't want to be resettled in America. We want to stay here. Just help us while we're here. So this is not actually about the expropriation law. It's about our foreign policy, and it's about Elon wanting to run roughshod in our markets in the way that he wants without following rules and regulations.
Right now, America is probably going what was known here in South Africa as a state capture. That is when a prominent business figure has close proximity rather to the presidency, and they're able to influence their decisions, even to the extent of even being the leader and the decision maker, as those were the allegations here in South Africa against the Guptas. Now in America, they have another Gupta who could be allegedly Elon Musk, because he has been noted to have made a considerable donation to the Trump campaign. He still wants to continue being his CEOs and running his company, and also run the government at the same time. And that is, hey guys, there's a lot happening in America, but we are not here to talk about him and what he's doing there. But what particularly interests us here in South Africa is that he is using his proximity to the US presidency to settle his business scores here in South Africa. One of those scores is his access to the South African market for StarLink. Now he does have access around some African countries, as we said, but so he was expecting that things would just be easier for him here in South Africa.
So StarLink is now available in Mozambique and Zambia, Nigeria, and it's still not available in South Africa. Normally, South Africa is always the trailblazer. Amazon is opened in Africa, Google, and normally most of these big companies are run in South Africa. So it does not make sense why ICASA is stalling and issuing StarLink a license. Lots of people can benefit from cheaper internet, especially in the rural areas, especially in the rural schools where there is not enough infrastructure, fiber infrastructure. So this goes against your development goals. So please, ICASA, issue StarLink this license. This comes out after they've discovered that there are some distributors who are illegally selling StarLink satellites without the necessary license agreements. In the press release, they have indicated that StarLink has not applied for an ISP license. Now, which is an ISP is an internet service provider license. One of ICASA's license conditions is that any service provider that wants to operate and run a business in South Africa must relinquish 30%, which is a BEE ownership. So it is unclear whether Elon Musk is intending to apply for the license. One thing that is obviously clear is that South Africa's regulatory bodies are there to protect the market, are there to protect this big four, your telecoms, your MTNs, your Vodacoms, your Cell Cs. So they put these tough conditions to make sure, these hoops, so that it makes sure that any business that wants to enter, they struggle. So that is one thing that is clear. These regulations are there to protect the market so that we keep on paying more data. That is basically what they are wanting. That is why, because once StarLink enters the market, it's going to be, they will provide way cheaper, faster internet, which is available everywhere, whether you live in the most rural markets, like in the most rural locations.
Let me know what your sentiments are down below. Please give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you on the next video.